After graduating from college, I started working in the angel network division of a financial company. Our team used to receive pitch decks from startups on emails, and we were supposed to raise funds for these startups by explaining their business models to the investors in our network. It sounds good, but in reality, we had to spend most of the time rejecting startups and asking them to reach out to us again after getting some traction. I loved that job, but it was tough. Most of the times, I had to research a lot to understand the business models of these startups, and I had to give reasons while rejecting them and sometimes provide them with advice to improve and grow their business. I read many great books to do my job well. One of the most popular book I read was 0 to 1, written by legendary Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel's name is even mentioned in the movie Social Network.
You know Peter Thiel? Nope. No reason you should. He just runs a $2 billion hedge fund called Clarium Capital.
Peter Thiel advised a lot in the book but never guided me to understand more about startups. The book that really helped me was The Startup J Curve. It's the best book I've read on startups. Just after reading the introduction of the book, I got so excited that I ordered it straight away. Let me reread the introduction for you to get you excited about reading it too. You will see the text on your screen as well. Although there are some good books on startups out there, this is the one I wish I had read before I began my first startup 35 years ago. Each of the 15 startups I have either founded or co founded would have benefited from the knowledge contained in these pages. And no doubt, the over 50 investments I have made in various startups as an angel investor would also have benefited if I knew then what I know now. When I first considered writing this book, I made sure nobody had published anything like it. As an angel investor, I have found that when I have a new idea or I am presented with one by a member of my team, it seems like we are the first one to have thought of it. With a little research, however, I often find that someone has already beaten us to the market. For this reason, I checked out the startup or entrepreneurial body of literature, and while I did find a number of useful books, I did not find anything like this one. The books that were available tended to offer specific point solutions to common specific startup challenges or case histories rather than guide startup founders on their entire startup journey. You can find some books that focus on certain aspects of the journey, but nothing that gives you the complete tour. As this book's first chapter explains, a startup unfolds in a predictable pattern. The more aware you are of this pattern, the better able you will be to capitalize on it. Instead of feeling lost and confused when you suffer a setback, something that happens to startups quite frequently in their initial stages, you'll be able to put these problems in context. This is not only psychologically reassuring, but also helps you know what to do and what not to do at a particular moment in time. By knowing exactly where you are on the path and what to do at that point in time, your odds of success will increase and you will get success faster. So that was the introduction. And the book really gives you a complete tour. The author uses a J curve to describe this journey. You can see the J curve on your screen. It shows 6 stages of a startup. The book describes each of these stages in detail. You can see the content page on your screen. The first chapter is the value of a map. It shows that a startup's journey doesn't have to be like the one shown in the memes and funny internet videos like this one. The next chapter talks about the first stage, which is create. Temper dreams with ideas, money, structure, and teams. It's all about how to create a product. Next chapter is release. Get the damn thing out there. It motivates you to launch your product as soon as possible to understand how the market reacts to it. The next and the most important chapter is morph. Embrace radical change. It brilliantly shows how most startups fail at this stage because they can't make extreme changes in their product according to the market need. The book gives many examples too. Let me give you some here. Twitter began as audio, a podcast service that they realized was doomed when Apple debuted iTunes. Pinterest began as Tote, which is an e-commerce enabling app where users could track their favorite retailers. William Wrigley used a piece of chewing gum to sell his primary products of soap and baking powder until he realized that the chewing gum was more popular. Groupon was originally a socially responsible fundraising site called The Point. That was all about this stage of the startup. Next chapter is business model, nail it before you scale it, which shows how most startups fail despite having a great product because they do not work on creating a great business model and try to scale it in a hurry. You will understand this if you know the story of McDonald's and how the McDonald's brother had a great restaurant but could not scale it. And then Ray Kroc came in, scaled it, and is known as the founder of McDonald's. Watch the movie The Founder if you want to know more about that. The rest of the book goes on about what to expect and what to do in every stage. I don't think there is any need of explaining you guys more. The book is worth reading and it will make your life easier. When I first heard about it, I didn't read it because I thought it wouldn't work mainly in the Indian business world, but it does. I have added the link to this book in the description and I have added a link to Peter Thiel's 0 to 1 as well. So go ahead and order the book now. The only thing you will regret after reading this book is why you didn't read it earlier. If you like this video, please check out my next video on another one of my favorite book, Good to Great, why some companies make the leap and others don't. I actually wanted to talk about this book in this video itself, but it would make this video too long. Anyways, in the next video, I will talk about how this book, Good to Great, tells us the story of 11 greatest companies of all time. The book shows how they turn into great companies by following a specific process, just like the J curve we discussed in this video. The link to this video is on your left.